the very issue that there isn't transparency in this particular aspect of the market at the petroleum level. And to Ms. Lummis's line of questioning, so you're saying that the price discovery that is supposed to be in a market as it relates to the refinery, post-refinery product, that there is a opaqueness to the market, that we don't actually understand what those trades are. No one is looking at those trades. Is that right, Mr. McCullough? Could you turn on your button? Thank you.
I apologize. I do, and I think Senator Lummis illustrated that very well. She asked a series of completely reasonable questions, all of which indicated that this was a bit of a mystery to her as well. And I don't disrespect her for it. It is a mystery. She asked, where did WTI and Brent come from? Those are worldwide markets. They're dominated by bad actors. Saudi and Russia certainly are two actors that we worry about. So we don't have much discovery in that. We probably never will. Everyone in the industry believes the Russians and the Saudis are never truthful about their activities. That's fine. But when we get to our shores, we're benefited by knowing more. And with many citizens wondering where these numbers come from, it's well within our abilities to be able to answer it. I've worked with the FTC on some of the previous investigations, and quite bluntly, they've started from scratch. And that's a terrible place to start. They did not have the data. I've been told, I can't prove it, but I've been told the FTC does not get a copy of the Opus newsletter. That's disgraceful. I don't know why that would be. They certainly need that. Any analyst does. So these are things we can fix very easily, and we can give citizens that answer.
So many of I'm concerned that in the flavor of today's hearing, that people are, it reminds me so much of the Enron discussion. It literally took until we had the traders on a tape saying what they had done. People used all the same things that they're saying today. So the fact is the FTC doesn't collect or look at this data, is that correct?
Well, they have no way to do it unless they actually go for a full-bore investigation and subpoenas. And the fact is that the number of documents is enormous. In other contexts, I've been through 3.5 million documents on some of these issues. This is not something you pick up one morning in an investigation. This requires ongoing transparency so you know where to look. The only reason we got through the manipulations in electricity and natural gas is that Enron employed some of the most incompetent traders known to man. And if they had not been singing songs about raping customers and burning fires, possibly we would never have had the political will to get the transparency we have in those markets now. I do not believe there is a single major company in America that would employ traders that stupid ever again, for obvious reasons. But the fact is, we need that. We need it in all of our commodities. We have it in almost all of our commodities, except for this gaping hole in the center in oil and gasoline. Not hard to fix, certainly beneficial. If Senator Cruz and the other senators here are doubting that there is any, we'll prove it. They'll be right, and I'll be satisfied. But if, as we expect, we do see anomalies, we should get to the bottom of them and reassure our citizens.
And you see some anomalies that concern you now about the West Coast market.
We certainly, when the price kept rising in California and the oil price was falling, that was a unique circumstance. And that didn't happen just one day. That went on for much of March.
And so the FERC authority that has existed basically, I believe, has found something like $1 billion in fines and disgorgement. Some of them, the very sector that also is involved in this sector of energy. Are you amazed that that still goes on today?
Not at all. You know, some of these scams are so tempting to a trader that he's willing to take the risk, and the returns are enormous. And we don't disbar traders for having bad acts. Sometimes they'll be forbidden by the CFTC to trade for a while. But it's interesting, in Texas, when we were reviewing a market manipulation issue, we found an in-run trader playing the same games years later. So there's nothing for it. We just need to have the facts out there so that we know what to do with them. And it's not difficult. And we do it everywhere else.
Okay, so I'd like to thank the witnesses for being here today. I thank our colleagues. I had hoped we'd have a little bit more discussion on transparency, but I know this is a very important subject to everybody, and we'd like to get answers about how to move forward. I will submit something on behalf of Senator Markey in his interpretation of the administration's actions without objection. We have, let's see, the record will remain open for 2 weeks. I ask members that they submit questions for the records and witnesses respond no later than April 29th. With that, we're adjourned.